Here we are. Thanks for being with us today. Ciao, Tommaso. Good
Ciao,
morning.
Raffele.
I
Good
present
morning,
you
everyone.
my colleague, Tommaso Bacconi, full stack developer at Cubbit, and I'm Raffele Giustini, cloud strategy consultant. Morning to everyone. Hopefully, it's a nice day today. Tommaso, how's the weather like in your in
Well,
your place?
there is the sun. It's warm, so it's nice.
Okay, we're feeling it's a nice day definitely in Europe. Temperatures looks higher than normal, and
Yeah. Yeah. Let me, Raffaele, just introduce the purpose of the demo of today.
yeah,
We're going to
sure.
see in specifically a demo about MSP 360 backup, which is a cross platform solution and designed for managed service provider, IT department, etc. I think it will be really useful to watch it today.
Yeah, definitely, Tommaso. I will delve with a general explanation of Capit and what are let's say, the point of differentiation of Capit. And Tommaso is going to delve the answer more into the, technical side and all the technicalities now to run an effective, immutable, geo-distributed backup with Capit. So without a further ado, maybe we can go to the introduction today.
Yeah, let's go.
When we talk about geo-distributed cloud storage, what do we mean? Cabit, contrary to other solutions, have data spread across multiple locations. This is due to the geo-distributed infrastructure, which we will delve into later with Thomas. When we say about Cabit, how can we sum up the solution Cabit? We can say that it's hyper-resilient. Why hyper-resilient? The geo-distributed nature, as we will see, makes it resilient against cyber attacks. If one node goes out, all the others will be consistent and retrieve the data as you can see it in a bucket. Sovereign, because we can choose the place where to store and where we want our data to be. This is something that is becoming increasingly important, especially for organizations delving with data, which is considered to be very, very sensitive, and data which we don't want to share with any other neighbor, let's say. The third characteristic of Cabit is that it's S3 compatible. When we think about S3 compatible storage, it's very important to mention that actually this is compatible with a great billion of software this, and this makes Cabit a flexible solutions which is compatible basically with thousands and thousands and thousands of software agents. And the thing which we want to stress is that this cost of geo distribution of the data is already uh, in the solution. There is no extra cost for that. So no need to have a multi-region backup anymore. The solution itself, it's equivalent to a multi-region backup. If we want to go forward in what is Capit in terms of features, we might see that, as I say, those two different souls, the distributed one and the S3, standard compatible nature. The S3 compatible nature makes possible to use features like object lock, versioning, identity and access management, multi-part upload, all these APIs, which are very, very important when it comes to making an effective, immutable backup. But as we talk about distributed nature of of Cabit, this gives, let's say, another layer of security against ransomware. So it's not just the S3 compatibility, but it's also the infrastructure which makes Cabit actually resilient against cyber attacks. If one node goes off, all the rest of the network in Cabit is able actually to self-regenerate the data and guarantee the mutability and the integrity of the data. So here we can see some examples, some mentionable partners. Today we're going to see MSP 360, cloud, formerly known as CloudBerry with Tommaso. We're going to delve into the details how to set up with Cubbit account with CloudBerry in just a few minutes. But what is more important is that here we can see, for example, that we have Rubrik, Synology, Veeam, QNAP, and also other, important software for backup. When we go forward with our explanation, and now we go delving into more the technical side. Tommaso, of course, will give you more explanation for that. I will give you just a general overview. Anyway, when we think about geo distribution, is that unlike traditional cloud storage, Cubbit data is not centralized in a unique place. It's not like in two buildings, one next to each other, neither. It's actually in multiple locations. This makes the disaster recovery and your backup easier actually. And all the files actually are protected by the same layer of security behind. And this is because your file is actually encrypted, splitted, and then it's also redundant in multiple locations. All of this process makes your data extremely more secure than centralizing it in a one data centers or in let's say in two buildings, one next to each other. And then, of course, all this process of geo-redundancy and geo-distribution of the data makes Cubbit actually more, let's say, also having it's on par with the features of a normal S3. When we see Cubbit, for example, we have the versioning, the object lock against ransomwares. We have also an expiration date link, pre-signed URLs, which is very useful. I use it every day, actually, also for my work, but you can definitely share some files, in a quite easy way. And we have also the ACL, so all the policies to work and to give access to the people which actually are more meaningful in your organization to have some type of sensitive data. Then we have also you can control the owner of the data. You can work on multiple projects. And finally, you can also have a dedicated partner portal. I want to stress this before going forward. The partner portal is very important because you and as an MSP can have a relationship with Cubbit by having, for example, some bonuses. If you can use it, you can check all your prospects. You can have education about Cubbit. This is extremely important because we want to stress that we are a channel organization and we are looking to distribute DS3 together with our partners. This is fundamental for us. So why Cubbit? To sum up before giving the word to Tommaso. First, the digital sovereignty. You can choose the place where you store your data. And you can do this with all the laws of the European Union. You can be sure it's compliant, 100%. ISO, and also, for the Italian market, you have also some other certification used, by example, by public administration. You can know that it's hyper resilient due to the geo-distributed nature of the solution. You can have a cloud cost reduction because Cubbit fixed pricing, as we say. We have no deletion fee, no data transfer fee, no S3 API calls fee. All those egress fees and which are not really understandable when you receive your cloud bill, they are not something that belongs to Cubbit. There is only one fixed price that you can clearly forecast the budget you allocate to your backup. And fourth, and we feel this is very, very important, it's sustainability. Because Cubbit, contrary to what we call centralized storage, actually has the power to increase the life of hardware, since we are able to move seamlessly from one hardware to the other thanks to the geo-distributed nature, the chunks, and the fragments of our files. And this, in the end, will generate better and better carbon footprints. So no need to throw away your hardware. No need to, have this kind of volume of new hardware. Why? And are some of the reasons why some companies across Europe actually choose Cubbit. And if we are going to, further explain what we do with Cubbit, is that Cubbit is already partner of GaiaX. We, as Cubbit, we are a partner of this organization in Europe for the sovereign cloud, and we feel that this is something that we want to participate. For example, Cubbit is also used and distributed by exclusive networks. This is an extremely important partner for us, and we are very proud to be working with them. And we also have to thank Leonardo, one of the big cybersecurity and cyber defense giants in Europe, especially also, well, in the aerospace world, actually. But we are very proud to work with them. So if you are a European company, this is the chance to innovate your cloud systems, your cloud storage, and adopt a geo-distributed, with all the benefits that we said before, a geo-distributed backup. So how does Cubbit work? And this is the part that I want to leave to Tommaso for more technical explanations. So Tommaso, please take the floor.
Thank you, Raffaele. That was crystal clear. So I will just add some technical details to what we just saw. So we received from Raffaele a very good overview about how Cubbit works and why company choose us over other storage solution. And now, before going into the demo, I want also to talk about the architecture. So how Cubbit does work in his inner mechanism. We rely, as Raffaele was saying, on a swarm of multiple nodes, and we don't rely on data center. That's the big difference. And these nodes talk to each other through a protocol we implemented, which is a peer-to-peer protocol, and which is translated in an S3 language, S3 protocol, by our S3 gateway. And this is why we are out of the box compatible with all those integration, all these agents and software which talk S3 language, let's say. And on top of these gateways, Swarm, and other services, we have our coordinator, which is a complex entity made of a lot of microservices, which purpose is to monitor the status of the network and also to maintain databases and offer other tools to handle all our architecture. That said, let's see the live demo. So I will just add to the stage the video, since I registered a backup example using the tool we are going to see today, which is this MSP 360 backup solution, which is a solution for managed service provider, from where you can perform managed backups for all of your clients. They provide this console, so a web console in SaaS, where you can create a new backup with a lot of storage solutions, including S3 compatible storage. So we're going to see how to add a Cubbit, how to have a backup on Cubbit from this console. By clicking on storage accounts, for example, you can see a list of all your storage provider. I already have a bunch of them. And by clicking on add a new one, we can start from scratch and create a new backup target, backup repository. It's a very compatible repository, and we are going to prompt a unique name to find it better later. And then we need a couple of keys as for any other agent we want to configure with Cubbit. Those keys are generated from the Cubbit web console, which is a software we implemented, a web interface, in order to kick off any other software configuration and also do some S3 basic operations like uploading objects, downloading objects, handling the identity access management as users and policies, handling projects and clients, and of course, generating the keys to configure all other clients. We have this API keys tab, and from this model, we can copy the access and the secret and paste them in their proper fields. If the access and the secret have the privileges to read and write on the buckets, then also MSP 360 will have those privileges. They are related to the EM user that is creating the keys. We need to prompt the Cubbit endpoint, which is s3.cubbit.eu, and then we can proceed and put a display name and then assign the backup the destination to a company, since we can manage multiple companies from here. In this case, I just have Cubbit as a company. So I'll select Cubbit, and that's all. Usually, when you configure a backup, you have two steps. The first one that we just made is to create a repository destination, the target of our backup. And the second one is to create a plan or a backup job. And from here, we need, what do we need? We need a computer, of course, from where we want to bridge the backup to Cubbit. We need to install on the computer the MSP360 agent. Since it's cross-platform, we can pick the operating system we prefer. In this case, we are downloading the executable for Windows, since we are on a Windows server. And we're going to install the software on the Windows server. And once the software is installed, as you can see, the wizard pop up, we can pick install, and the software will install all the library necessary for it to work. What do we need? We need to run the software and keep it open. For the moment, we won't use the software, the agent, to perform the backup directly, but we will use the web console. We will just come back to this agent later when we want to perform a restore. So let's just wait for it to be installed. And so now it's completed. We can click on run immediately. So we need the software to be running, and once the software started, we can go back to the computer's root on the web or the console of MSP and refresh the page. As you can see, the software is running. We can minimize this window. We won't need it anymore. And let's refresh the page. Okay, we see now the machine, since we installed the agent, is online. And now we need the second step of our backup, which is the backup plan. In order to create one, we need to click on the computer name in the table list, which is in this case Win Server. A panel opens up. We have these backup plans. I have already performed one before, so I will delete it. And let's just create a new one from scratch. We want to perform a virtual machine backup, so we're going to select the VMware backup plan. And here we have the wizard. We want to backup to the repository we just configured, which is the Cubbit-msp-demo. And then we need to connect to our host network where our virtual machine is hosted. We need to prompt the IP address and, of course, the credentials in order to be able to enter the network. If all of those steps are successful, we will be asked what we want to backup. The options are we can decide to backup all virtual machines that are found on the network. We can decide to backup only the running ones or just select the one we prefer. In this case, we configured a test virtual machine just for demo purposes. It's just a 20 gigabytes virtual machine in size, so a small one. We want to backup all disk of the virtual machine. From this screen, we can enable the compression and the encryption, client-side encryption. Of course, remember that data will be encrypted also on the gateway, on Cubbit's gateway, and will be encrypted so when they rely on our network. From the schedule option, we can decide to run this backup plan in certain days of the week or of the month. For example, we can decide to run it daily or just 2 days in a week, like on Sunday and on Wednesday at midnight. Optionally, we can decide also at which time. At midnight is a good time since probably we are low on bandwidth consumption. And we are running incremental. So anytime the backup plans run, we'll just upload the different on that data chunks respect to the last time we performed the backup. And if you want, we can also decide periodically to have a synthetic backup composed of all of these incremental we are doing. In the retention policy, we can decide to keep the backup for like a maximum of 8 days and then discard the oldest one. And from here, we can also enable the object lock. Of course, to enable object lock, we need a bucket with object lock enabled. And we didn't configure a proper bucket for this, and MSP360 will create one new, so we don't have the possibility to enable object lock now. Okay, we completed the wizard, so we can start the plan by clicking on the icon. And of course, from this is a video, and I will spare you all the progressing of the backup. I will just skip to the end and see what happened at the end. And here it is, the backup job completed. As we can see, there is the last result is success. We have some information about the next run also. And so the backup plan ran, so we should have something on the console by now. As you can see, we have a bucket. And if we try to navigate the files inside, we have some folders and some blocks. We cannot understand what's inside since it's a logic inner to the MSP360 tool. If we want to recover some files, to restore something, we should use this tool. We cannot download from the console. Okay, so let's try a restore job. Let's open the test machine. Let's assume we lost some files. I will just delete a file from these command lines. It's a very simple test machine. I'm just listing and then removing a file called demo file.txt. Okay, and that's all. So I just removed the file. So what do we want to do? We want now to perform a restore job and be able to see again this file that I removed. So let's come back to the previous situation by do a recovery plan. Let's open again the Windows Server machine. And for the restore plan, we can use the agent we installed. We have a big button there, which with the caption restore. And then we have this wizard, and we can select the repository where we perform the backup. And then we can decide to restore once, so also I have a plan of restore over time. We want to restore it now. Let's select the machine, the virtual machine. We just want the latest version to be restored, but if we already perform different backups and incrementals, we could also choose which restore point we want to restore, because we have in time a lot of points, and any point is like a snapshot of our situation. We can recover that snapshot. As we did before, we need to prompt the address and the credentials to access the network. We want to power off the machine and start the restore process. And that's the summary. We selected this virtual machine on this network called test. We want to restore it with the same name and overwrite the data. So we flag the checkbox overwrite the data. Okay, I will just skip to the end also this time and open the test virtual machine to check if everything worked. I'm going to list the files, and here it is. Here we have our demo file.txt. It means that the recovery was successful. And that brings me to the end of the demo. We saw how to perform a backup with MSP360 backup, and also how to restore those data in case of we lost something, or we suffered from a malware, a ransomware, or any kind of accidental deletion. So I will give you the word back, Raffaele,
Yeah,
and maybe
thank you, Tommaso.
the Q&A question.
Thank you very much, Tommaso. So let's wait if there are some questions. But before talking about that, if there are some questions, let's talk about the upcoming events. The next event, like, will wait you next Wednesday, 21st. But the webinar this time will be in Italian, alas, come attivare backup offsite sicuri con Nakivo and Cubbit. So we'll explore another important compatibility, and we will definitely see some more use cases of Cubbit. So thank you, Tommaso, for the clear explanation. Are there any questions? Is Cubbit also compatible with other tools such as Veeam? Yeah, of course.
Simple one. Veeam is one of the most used clients. Client used from our partners. We have plenty of documentation on how to configure it and how to use it. You can watch our YouTube channel and also navigate our documentation on our site. Here's the link to the documentation. We will find there a lot of information about using Veeam with Cubbit.
Yeah, thank you. And in case there are any question that you want to ask me or some other people at Cubbit, you are free to scan this QR code and schedule your call. I will be more than happy to answer all your questions.
Okay, Raffaele, we'll wait another minute, maybe, if there are late questions. Otherwise, I think that's all for today.
I think that's all, folks. As they say when there are the Looney Tunes, I think it's a very enjoyable demo. Anyway, it will be available on YouTube. Feel free to go to read it every time you want to watch it. Enjoy the content that we are producing for you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, everybody. So let's catch up at the next demo.
Bye.
Bye.